So as I said, we used to have these joy days, like sometimes in London and the Scottish disciples would come, and sometimes in Scotland and so on. And so one time when I was living in London, the parish centre, there was like this choral group that started, like with basically like French disciples, English disciples, or British disciples, and a few Swiss disciples. And so we were supposed to do this, or the plan was that we were going to have a concert in London. And so on one weekend, we had, we were having a joy day in Scotland, I think in Glasgow. And basically that part of that joy, most of that joy day was us, actually the British disciples that were going to be in the choir were practicing the songs that we were going to do, and the kind of choral arrangements and so on. But during that joy day, we were told that Guru would actually call and speak with us. So a pre-thing to that story is that I had earlier in the summer, this was sort of in the fall, I think, or in winter, maybe in November or December. That summer, I had been invited. I had just graduated college and was planning. I think I had just moved to London, and my parents had invited me to go with them to visit my grandparents in Yugoslavia. And this is my connection from my father. It's my Yugoslavian connection. So I had gone there, and then when I came back and I came to the London Centre, I had mentioned in a previous story about this thing with Guru called the London Boys, and Guru had invited the London Boys to come for August celebrations, and of course I felt I couldn't go because I'd literally just a week before arrived back from visiting my grandparents. But I think I helped. I had a good job, as I said, working at London Zoo, so I actually helped one of the other boys who was actually also studying philosophy or something in London, to actually go to New York. But then, during this, when we had this phone call, we had a nice meditation, and then it was planned that Guru would call, and then we were supposed to go one by one to the actual phone. It was back in the days when you had the old, phones with the cord and stuff and everything, and you had to pick up the phone, and then generally what Guru would do was, he would say, "All my love and blessings." But then when it was my turn to answer the phone, I answered the phone, and you would say your name. So I said, "This is Nick, Guru," and Guru said, "Oi, you did not come to see me. You went to see your family. This is very good that you went to see your family, but you did not come to see me. When will you come to see me?" And so immediately, like almost spontaneously, I said, in April, I think. And Guru said, "Don't think, come." And so after that weekend, when we went back to London, I immediately went and booked a flight for New York for April celebrations. So I was there, we were there for April celebrations and so on, and we were going to be there for a couple more days. And the thing is Guru had started this series of lectures. He was giving 50 lectures in New York State, and he still had a few more to do after the April celebrations. So one of the disciples that was organizing people going on transport and stuff to go with Guru, or to be there when he was giving these lectures upstate, came to me and said, "Would you come?" Because he was like taking lists and stuff and everything. And of course I was supposed to be leaving and going back to London in a couple of days. So I said, "Well, I don't think so. I don't have I don't have money and this and that and so ever." And so he said, "Okay," and he went away. But then it was kind of strange because I immediately thought, "No, you're really stupid. You should go." And so I went back and I found him and I said to him, "Okay, you can put me on the list." And he looked at me like, surprised, and he said, "But you're already on the list." So I thought, wow, this is really strange. So anyway, Guru actually went up. I remember we went and we checked in. We went up to between two universities, Syracuse University and I forget which the other one was, but it was where we were staying in the motel was between the two. So Guru would give a lecture in Syracuse University in the afternoon, and in the evening he gave in the other one, and then we went back to the hotel for dinner, the motel for dinner, and I was staying with like two other boys, a Canadian boy I think, and a boy from New York, and so it had been announced that the next morning at 8 o'clock there was this room upstairs in the restaurant that we'd eat in, and we were going to have a meeting there. And Guru said, 8 o'clock, please don't anyone be late. So after our meditation, we went for our run, we came back, we showered, we rushed over to the place where the meeting was going to be, and we got there at about 7:45. And so, but as we walked upstairs and we came to the entrance to the room, we noticed that there were people standing at the back of the room, and when you kind of walked in, there were already people sitting and Guru was meditating. So we joined that group, standing at the back, and I thought, oh no, we've missed it. Even though we come early, we've come late. And so that was my first thought. But then after just a few minutes, Guru then said that everyone that was sitting in the chairs should now come to the back, and the people at the back should come and sit. And so we sat, and we had a short meditation, and then Guru got up, and he started to walk from side to side in the front of the room. And then suddenly I heard him say, "Nick, come." And I thought I was just imagining it. And so I just sat there. And then everyone that's sitting in front of me in the chairs turned and started looking at me, and I realized that Guru had actually said my name and told me to come. So I got up and I started to walk towards the front, and as I walked to the front, Guru sat back into his chair, and he motioned for me to kneel in front of him at his feet. So I kneeled down in front of him at his feet, and Guru put out his hand and started to bless me. But again, as he started to put his hand on my head, I was looking at Guru's feet, and Guru pushed my head back, and so that I was looking directly into his eyes. And Guru said to me, basically, Guru gave me my spiritual name, and it was really funny for me because Guru said my name 3 times, said the meaning of my name, and then said my name 3 times again. But the first 3 times he said it, he said, Chanako, Chanako, Chanako. The second 3 times he said it, he said, Chanakhya, Chanakhya, Chanakhya. So, but because I'd heard Guru say Chanako the first time, I kind of I changed my name tag and put a little thing on there, with this, and that we went for breakfast. And I remember a couple of disciples came up to me to congratulate me for getting my spiritual name, and they were trying to say it because it's kind of a hard spelling. And I said, oh, it's Chanako. And they said, but it's not spelled that way. How is it, how is it Chanako, So then that kind of confused me. But then we had to, after breakfast, we would go back to the motel and check out, because we were going further up towards Niagara Falls, where Guru was again going to give a talk, and then we were going to spend some time by Niagara Falls in the park there. So I went to check out, and when I went into the lobby of the motel, Guru was there on his own. And Guru saw me, and he said to me, so, are you happy? And I said, yes. I said, but Guru, I have one question. And he said, yes, please ask the question. And I said, Guru, is it Chanako or is it Chanakhya? And he said, oh, it's Chanako, Chanako, Chanako. So that was the way, I told everybody that was my name. So especially all the New York disciples, because now I ended up staying, now in New York. All the New York disciples started knew me by the name Chanako. And Guru often, if he did talk to me or say something to me, he referred to me by that name for about 3 months. And then after 3 months, Guru started calling me Chanakhya. And so I remember at one point, I think it was Alo Devi actually explained to me that in Bengali, the A sound is often like O. And so that was essentially like the Chanakya was like a Bengali translation of my name, and Chanakhya was sort of like the Indian explanation of my name. So they both worked. So that was kind of like, how my sort of initiation into my spiritual name. And although it was kind of like, I was really surprised as well, because a lot of spiritual names are usually like, maybe one word, explaining words, or, a couple of words, something like that. But mine was actually like almost like a whole poem, in a sense. And but essentially it was like, if you put it down to one word, it was wisdom. And then I also discovered that back in, that Chanakya was a quite well-known sage in the 12th century BC in India that was instrumental actually in preventing Alexander the Great from conquering India. And I told this story one time in Skopje Center, and one boy, when I came to the end of the story and said that, one boy from the back of the room shouted, "And next time you have to let him win." So I thought, this is Guru's humor immediately. So, and that was the thing, is I always felt like, every once in a while Guru would surprise me, not necessarily himself personally, but through someone else, to not be too serious about things. So that was my, and helped me in many, many, many ways in the future.